Welcome to the Techno Talk podcast, where we dive deep into the ever-evolving world of technology, one bite at a time. I'm your host, Matty.
And Josh.
And in each episode, we'll explore the latest tech trends, breakthroughs, and mind-bending innovations. From the great North American Eclipse to
Apple patents.
We've got it all covered. Remember to subscribe to this podcast everywhere you get your podcast.
First on our topic list today, I am going to be talking about Apple's patents. Now, recently, it's come to my attention that Apple has quietly, quote unquote, patented an AirPod capable of detecting electrical signals from brain activity.
Really?
And extracting features. Yes. This technology has some implications, right? Now, very soon, someone stated that we could be seeing some Apple products hit the market, such as neurotechnology, something similar to maybe what Elon Musk is doing. What do you think about that?
I think that's really interesting. I mean, to see Apple get into that space, though, is something that I would never expect personally.
Right. I think they want a little bit of every market and to dominate that, at least. But this sort of technology has some negative implications, such as listening to us as people without consent.
Oh God, you know how I feel about that.
Right.
I do not like that idea. But continue.
Also, what do you think about how you can be in one room shaving and then go into your other room and pull up your phone and all of a sudden there's shaver ads?
I would not like that. I mean, it kind of already happens, but I mean, if it happened even more deeply, that would be kind of messed up.
Yeah. But yeah, this could be big. I mean, they decided to quietly patent it, instead of press releasing it to the public and making the public go crazy. I mean,
I mean, this could be anything, though. We don't really know. I mean, in the past, I know Apple has made patents and stuff on products that never ended up coming to light, like the Apple Car, for example. So,
right, yeah,
we don't really know if this is maybe just them kind of doing it just now, just to see what they can do, because they always research stuff, and they also spend a lot of money on R&D, like. Of course, all these Apple products and all the profiting that they make off these products, that all goes into like tremendous R&D and like some of the most crazy products. And, look at how they wasted, 20 billion plus on the Apple Car. I mean, they'll pour a lot of money into every single type of topic and then just see what sticks,
Right. Yeah, it's all just speculation, right? Because they can patent anything they want. They don't have to prove to us that it can work. This is just the first step, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I hope to see that Apple does the right thing here. I mean, I don't see them completely controlling everybody's minds and everything and all that, but you never know. Apple is pretty out there sometimes, right?
Right. Did we talk about in a previous episode about how the EU is uh, basically removing them from their market because Apple's basically flooded the market so that they can control the market, right?
Really?
Yeah, they don't want any other competition. They want the full market, and so the EU banned them, right?
Yeah.
That'll help.
Alrighty. All right. So my next topic is something near and dear to my heart, something that I'm kind of sad about. You ever watch, or should I put it this way? You ever hear of Larry David?
No, who's he?
He is a legend. He's the former co-creator of Seinfeld. It was an incredible sitcom show. Um, he's pretty wealthy as well, but his show, an HBO original called Curb Your Enthusiasm, is ending after 12 seasons. He's
Well,
finally, yes, he's finally bringing it to an end. And this topic probably hits me a little hard. It hits me close to home, honestly. Like, I watched this show, and I never really got into Curb until recently. But it's one of those shows where it's like dark humor, dark comedy type of stuff, right? I mean, everybody will call it something different, but Larry plays this miserable guy who doesn't really like society that much, but he
right.
makes jokes about a whole series of things. Like, he'll have little skits going on all over where he like makes fun of someone, or he's divorcing his wife one minute, or you know he ends up getting caught with an artist and his housekeeper sees him making love, like
Right.
it's just a whole bunch of funny stuff, right? And his jokes are beyond iconic. I mean, he actually is the one who made that theme song. Remember that one? It was like I can't really. I'm not gonna do it on the podcast. That's gonna be embarrassing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this is his last season, and it's kind of sad. And as of this filming, actually, the final episode's now out. I haven't been able to see it yet, but I'm sure when you're hearing this episode, I've already seen it. Now, did the series finale, No Lessons Learned, live up to expectations of the audience? I guess we'll have to see the outcome of that. I've already seen all 9 episodes. There's a 10th episode coming out tonight. So for me, though, I mean, I feel like this season was one of the best ones. And to be honest, I have not seen all 12 seasons. I haven't really went that deep. But after the 12 seasons wrapped up, I do plan on, going back, watching some of his other seasons and all that, trying to take
Right.
in everything,
Yeah.
And he's the type of show where you don't really need to watch like every single season. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
if it's a comedy show, it doesn't really have a storyline. So you can kind of jump around seasons, whatever one you like the best. Did Larry learn anything though? Probably not. I mean, he's still a miserable guy. And like he said in his public interviews, he plays as himself. So Larry David plays as Larry David in the show. And it's kind of like his alter ego, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so he really
Oh yeah.
appreciates, yeah, it's kind of like his dark alter ego. um, and, there's some speculation out there that this might not be the last season of Curb. Um, and Larry's known to stop projects and continue them a year or two later because he gets bored.
Right.
Um, but who knows? I mean, if we see a 13th season, I would not be complaining. I'll just say that right now. But I will say, unfortunately, we got to pay respects to one of his best friends. Unfortunately, passed away recently in February, and he's actually in the 12th season, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, now with his one of his best closest friends passed away, and one of the guests on Curb Your Enthusiasm, that'll probably shake up things a little bit. So I could definitely see this as like the farewell season, the vinyl season pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, HBO had a great series going for them, and I'm really happy things went the way they did.
Well, that's good. I once heard a advice, well, not sort of advice, maybe sort of wise thing, um, by this one creator, but he said every good show comes to an end. And I suppose
Yeah,
there's these sort of underlying nice piece to that not your favorite show's not going to continue forever. I mean, you're going to have more favorite shows and maybe, but
yeah,
every show, good show, is going to come to an end, and there's a nice piece to that, I suppose.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Now my next topic is could be huge. Now, scientists have identified the first unconventional superconductor that you can find in nature.
Whoa,
Now,
really?
this could be huge because if we can find a new sort of conductor, then that could revolutionize the world over. Like, if we could find something better than copper,
Yeah, that
that
would be a huge revolution.
right, yeah, because copper's literally in everything,
Right,
anything that works.
right,
Because
exactly.
copper is king, right? The price on copper is going up, but anyway, back to this. Um, uh,
Yeah,
this is more than just a typical superconductor. Um, it has passed a few tests that shows it's unconventional. Um, it's part of a small group, right? So it's sort of special and gone under this special research.
right.
Um, right. And so inside a regular material that conducts electricity, uh, how electricity runs through it, these paths aren't huge or perfect, so they experience at least a little bit of resistance. Um, Conductors are organized by how much resistance they produce. The less resistance is better, right?
Right.
So some products, like heating pads, intentionally use resistance because electricity deposits more energy. Superconductivity, on the other hand, is electrical resistance inside a solid material dropping to zero.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
and so uh, scientists have theorized about different types ever since, right?
Right.
And so superconducting material only achieves this state at super low temperatures under a high amount of pressure. Um, and this low temperature is named Bose-Einstein condensate. This
That's
high
an
temperature is
interesting name.
highly sought after as a superconductor since cooling anything to near absolute zero is super expensive in equipment and energy. And so superconducting could theoretically solve this zero temperature issue, right? Because
Yeah.
they can achieve uh, this extreme temperatures at a fraction of the expensive cost.
Yeah, that's really useful because it wouldn't cost as much too, right?
Right. Um, and this materials found in nature, it's improbable that any natural sample would be superconductive.
Right.
They've been bopping around the Earth, and scientists have been testing their samples. But anyone who has a sample of this myosite has a potential unconventional superconductor. So yeah.
Wow. So it's just like a natural superconductor, then, is what you're saying.
Right. So if you have any
Wow.
myosite,
Yeah,
could
I
be
mean, this
superconductor.
this is very, very nerdy stuff, and I'd love to have someone come
A
on the
bit,
show
yeah.
and like maybe if you're an expert in this topic, definitely contact us, you know. Um, but this is really interesting, like the fact that there's these new possibilities of semiconductors being able to do all this, like it's kind of like we're opening up that the door to this next chapter, you know,
Right, yeah.
of even higher quality technology. And you know, the fact that it's natural makes us kind of realize like it was probably here on Earth to begin with, you know, to maybe use it for this purpose
Yeah.
someday. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Definitely an interesting discovery.
Yeah, and I'm happy to hear about it, honestly.
What do you have next for us, Matt?
The Great North American Eclipse, a once in a lifetime event for only certain people. The sky's going to be darkening over parts of North America on April 8th, 2024. That's actually the day that this episode's being posted. Thanks to a total solar eclipse, this astronomical spectacle has captured the imaginations for centuries, and this year's event is sure to be no
Wow.
different. A total solar eclipse occurs when the moon completely blocks the sun, creating a breathtaking sight. The path of totality, where complete darkness will occur for a brief period, stretches from Texas to Maine in the US and into Canada. Millions of people live within the path of totality, offering a rare chance to witness this celestial phenomenon. So, what about you, Josh? Are you going to be in this pathway?
Unfortunately not. This year it is an expected path from Texas stretching across to the eastern board of North America, heading more east off of Texas. I'm sort of west of Texas, so I definitely won't be on the path of totality. I mean, I might be able to see it. I mean, it's been pretty cloudy here the last few days. It's been moggy weather, horrible 80 mile per hour winds, and slowing down just more recently. Been a lot of cloud coverage. For tomorrow, we could be seeing it. Not super sure about it. It's not looking great for me on the Western Front.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not going to be in the path of totality, but I might see 90% of it. And apparently, it's not going to be too cloudy tomorrow where I am. So I might be able to see the
Right.
sun get a little bit dim, you know. It's definitely not going to be complete darkness, but it's going to be a pretty cool phenomenon that lasts about 3 minutes. And I think I'm going to enjoy it. It might be pretty fun to, you know, see the sun block itself out. Goodbye, sun.
Right. It looks like on this that I just pulled up, the path of total eclipse is Texas through looks like Ohio.
Wow.
But it
Ohio.
looks like where you are, 90% is pretty accurate for your totality. Way east, closer to the coast, will be getting an 80%, with a partly cloudy closer to Maine and a likely cloudy closer to Louisiana. A 60% totality will be for Florida. And for where I'm at, it looks like I'm getting a 60% totality, with clouds in Arizona and South Dakota, it looks like.
Wow. So you're basically saying that you're going to see a little bit of it, only about half, though. Half light reduction.
Pretty much.
Well,
That
that
seems
sucks.
to
You
be
don't get to see
accurate.
the whole thing.
Right. It is unfortunate. The other one that happened last year, coming over Oregon through Texas again, I don't know why Texas gets two, also didn't give my state totality as well. So it's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, you didn't get to experience it. Now, do we know where the next locations? Because I heard either in 2025 or 2026 is going to be another eclipse, but it's not going to be here in North America.
I do not know about that. I would assume it to be over Europe, but I
Yeah,
also don't know.
I heard Spain would be one of the countries targeted with it. So, I mean,
Right.
if that's accurate, though, that means that if you miss it this year, go over to Spain, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty exciting event. I mean, obviously, people who really like um astrology and all that, like they're really gonna love this event, and it's gonna be really interesting for them. I think for me, it's gonna be one of those situations where I just go out the door, look at it, wow, and then go back inside.
Pretty much. I mean, there's not much going on. They always say, "Oh, it's a once in a lifetime thing," and then
Yeah.
it's like, wow,
Well, for most
my
people who
sun is
aren't
black.
traveling.
I mean, I saw it once when it was that big one when I was a kid. Do you remember that?
Um,
There was a
no.
really big one when I was a kid. Well, that was probably because it went over my state, but I saw like 90% when I was probably 12,
Wow.
8 years ago. Yeah, it went right over my state. I got to see the whole thing at like 90%, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just changes every year. I don't know why they have to say it's a once in a lifetime.
Well, I think they want to amp people up. I
Right.
mean, in other categories though, basically people are saying, like I saw, the FBI and terrorism alert centers are all like zoning in on these areas because they think that, big crowds and looting and all that might take place, and
Right.
then there's people on the far right saying that the whole world's gonna be over tomorrow. uh, I'm sorry, I can't. The whole world's gonna be over and everything's gonna be just done, basically.
It's a bit silly. I mean,
The moon's gonna crash into the sun, even though that's not how it even works. But
yeah, it'll get flung back 30,000 miles into the sun.
yeah, I think it's a lot farther than that.
Probably.
What's your next topic?
Let's see. Ship-eating sea worm could soon be sold by supermarkets as sustainable fish alternative. I hate fish, and I'm not eating this slug-looking thing on my screen. Uh, Ship-eating sea worm could soon be sold by supermarkets as a sustainable alternative to other fish products. Uh,
Uh,
some universities are growing this white mollusk with the aim of farming it for consumers in the UK. Known as the shipworm, where in the Philippines people would eat it raw, dipped in coconut vinegar with salt and chili, different from many other mollusks that do not have a shell. Researchers from Cambridge believe the creature will provide a sustainable alternative to the big five, such as cod, haddock, salmon, and tuna, and prawns, because they make up 80% of the seafood eaten in the UK. Yet they are harmfully fished and often unsustainable because they are such heavily fished and need such a large supply for such a country. Their ecosystems are usually harmed.
That's interesting.
Right, yeah. I think it could definitely help because the ecosystems are a huge part to the Earth's and ocean's health. It looks gross, and I'm not sure how people take to it, but
Wait, I need to see this now.
yeah, sure, I'll send you a picture, but imagine like a white banana.
Ew. They're gonna start selling that?
Yep. You dip
Doesn't
it
even
in.
taste good.
I don't see anything about taste, but these
It looks like a white carrot that you'd pull out of the ground.
a little bit.
Yeah, for audio viewers at home, just imagine a carrot that's white.
Or skinny banana.
Yeah.
Shipworms are known for boring into French and UK ships in the Channel, and even causing trouble for Christopher Columbus when he was stranded in the Caribbean.
Oh my god.
But scientists discovered that they are rich in nutrients like vitamin B12, and all they require is wood and water to grow. So
Wood
pretty
and
sustainable. Yeah. Pretty easy to grow them, but I don't know about taste and all that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm always leery whenever something new comes out on the market, especially when it comes to
Right.
food. Because, yeah, they researched it, but how much did they research it? Like, a little bit or a lot or what?
Quite a bit. I mean, it's a whole article, right? They researched it at Cambridge.
Yeah.
And they've been researching like its anatomy to make sure like they found it has vitamin B12, which is pretty good for you, right? And
Yeah. I get
they've
that
been
in my one a
right.
day.
Yes, I take my vitamins as well.
Oh, good.
But yes, it's sort of a different approach to our food systems, right? Like with the fish, with the fish market, like if we're overfishing this one particular fish, then it's gonna ruin the ecosystems. Because like if they're all gone, get extinct, and there's nothing to kill this other bug in the water, and yada yada yada. So it could definitely help.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's always good to have alternatives because then that'll kind of make the amount of people eating the other types of fish, go down a little bit.
Right? Yeah.
Now, I could imagine though, fish, they multiply very fast though, don't they? So,
Yes. Definitely.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a fish shortage, but
Well, no, but if you haven't heard like if you overfish a particular animal, then all the fish have trouble repopulating, and if there's not enough of them, then there's not enough of them to eat whatever they eat, right? And so
oh,
if that if whatever they're eating populates more than them, then it destroys their ecosystem.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, there's a lot of that, especially like there's that in fishing. There's that in on land. Right. I can try to explain it a bit more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like for land creatures, take for instance, if you killed in one particular area, there's an area called or all the animals in the area are called a population. And so let's say you kill all of the let's say you're having a problem with bears in your town. You kill all of the bears.
Right.
Well, now there's no predators in the area because bears are the only predator for that region. Like there's nothing else. And so all of them die. All of the deer in that area don't have anything to keep their population at bay. Right? And so they multiply like crazy. Now all of a sudden there's like 20,000 deer and no predators. And so all of a sudden you're going to see a bunch of hunters there. Oh, there's so much deer here. Let's go and hunt them. And it'll hurt the ecosystem because if there's all these deer, now they all have to eat. What are they going to eat? All the grass. Then there's no more grass in that area. Then they have to move to a different area. And now it's damaged.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's a big topic.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people who dedicate their entire life to kind of figuring out all the different specifics there of that and kind of trying to protect the ecosystem, making sure bad things won't happen.
Right. Yeah. There's whole careers that you can go into and study.
Yeah, that's really good, honestly, and we're happy to hear that. Because like that stuff's always really fascinated me, because it is interesting. Right. It really is. But yeah, I'm happy to see it.
What do you have next for us, Matt?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about, because SpaceX, right? That company's been on this show probably a few times by now. They get a lot of advertisement from us, from our few amount of viewers. But I did want to tell you something real quick as like a little bonus. You know how we were just talking about the solar eclipse?
Right.
Well, I got some more facts for us now I wanted to share with the audience. The eclipse path in the U.S. is 180 kilometers wide, 92,000 Airbnb and VRBO rentals in the strip. Yep, 92,000 Airbnb and VRBOs. The 92% of occupancy tonight versus 30% in normal April weekend. So, yeah, 92% of hotels and stuff are booked in that area. Usually it's only 30%.
Wow.
And average booking is $269. There was a bump in sales of $44 million. Majority of short-term rental customers booked 2 months in advance, so they locked in a good price. Chain hotel motel prices were up 50% to 100% for this weekend.
Wow.
That's crazy. Imagine doubling the price of your hotel just because of the eclipse.
Ooh. Oh, I saw this one thing that had a bunch of dots on America, and then they all like sort of combined on Texas and through the Eclipse path.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, the Airbnb rentals like popping up, and
Yeah.
I mean they're gonna make their money, but
You know, I
I
feel
would not pay
bad though
indefinitely for
for
that.
Californians. They get nothing.
Mm, I don't. I'm glad they don't get any more.
Yeah. I mean, did they used to or
Nah, I just
oh,
think
okay.
it's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, if you're a Californian watching this, I think Joshua has something against you that he needs to work out. So I'm
No, but
joking, I'm joking.
it's crazy. Everyone in my state, below me, and to the left of me, all hate Californians. It's straight up bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
Yeah, because
California wants to be its own country, you know?
they they straight up invaded these 3 states. Even more. They all migrate. They all
Well,
migrated into us.
yeah, I think that's a popular thing now, you know, Californians moving out, um, which is interesting. But I mean, we have to remember though, California makes up a lot of our GDP too. Like, it's one of the most
Right.
like economical states out there. Like, they have some of the most
Oh
amount of
yes,
money in
yes.
the whole United States, even more so than New York, I believe. So it's pretty crazy. But they are an economic superpower of our country,
Right.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they'll bring in like half the money, I suppose.
yeah, true, true. Well, talking about SpaceX as we were talking,
Right.
they took a step towards their fourth launch of the Starship. So, you know the Starship, that's their mega rocket that's
To get to the
supposed
moon
to
or
it's supposed to go to
right to
Mars.
Mars?
It's
Mars,
supposed to
yeah.
be able to fly up, go to Mars and then come back down, go into the platform, you go right back in it and go back up. Kind of like they're trying to basically commercialize it, kind of like a passenger plane,
Mm,
right? Where you could land it,
I can see
reuse
that.
it unlimited amount of times, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do with the Starship, which is pretty cool because, you know, like they said, you need constant transportation. You can't be waiting months and months in between launches. You got to just be keep going to put people into space, right?
Right.
That's the only way we're going to get anywhere. We can't be having a launch, like a huge launch every 2 or 3 years. We need one back to back all the time. Like, imagine airplanes, you could only use them once. Like, airplane travel would be so expensive, right? In the
Right.
aviation industry. So they're basically trying to reuse it. And SpaceX has done this before by, you know, allowing the boosters to auto land and all that. So they conducted a static fire test with their latest super heavy booster, the 33 engine Starship first stage, on Friday, April 5th, at a Starbase site in South Texas. SpaceX has already performed static fires with the 165-foot tall or 50-meter upper stage spacecraft that will fly with the Super Heavy. Together, the duo will stand about 400 feet, 122 meters tall. The giant rocket's 2 stages failed to separate as planned on the debut flight, which ended after just 4 minutes. Starship achieved stage separation on Flight 2, and last month's mission made even more progress. It lasted nearly 50 minutes, and the Starship upper stage successfully opened and closed its payload door, among other milestones. Starship
Wow.
could fly again as soon as next month.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're making a
That's
lot of progress from flight to
that is
flight.
progress.
Yeah, because
Wow.
they they had some failures here and there, and then they ended up you know, improving on those failures, kind of taking in those data points and making it better and more reliable, and you know, before you know it, we might have a full system. up and running.
Yeah, that's crazy. We could have passenger flights to the moon within our lifetime. I think is definitely feasible.
I think so. I mean, I'd be willing to do it. Probably not right away when it comes out, though, because the
Oh yeah.
fatality rate's going to be high. I mean, you can't tell me that things are going to be smooth sailing forever.
Isn't it like crazy expensive to get a ticket on there too?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, we'll have to be spending like, 200K a ticket or more. Probably more. But what do you got planned for your next topic?
Ooh, I have a breakthrough in electrical cars. This new breakthrough could bring new batteries that charge in 5 minutes rather than hours. 5 minutes is pretty good. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
2 to 3 times more than a
I
gas
mean,
stove.
then maybe we could talk about mainstreaming cars, electric vehicles.
Right, yeah.
Maybe.
Now this new technology could let them charge in 5 minutes. Um, Now of course this is just speculation, but uh, these new lithium sulfur batteries are one of the few technologies that could one day replace the lithium ion batteries that are currently being used. Um, these batteries, however, have a number of drawbacks. They fail to keep the charge and take a long time to charge up. Wait, what? Yes. Uh, Sometimes they'll require 10 hours to fill back up. So they haven't really widely made it into the market. A new study, however, looks to address the 10-hour fill up problem. Now, if they made it out of carbon, researchers are able to make a battery with large amounts of power that could charge in less than 5 minutes.
Wow. I mean, it
With the
sounds like a
lithium
technology
sulfur,
that's kind of in early stages, but maybe
it
someday
is
we'll
very
see something
early.
out of it.
I think I was saying it wrong. So this lithium sulfur battery currently takes 10 hours to charge up. What they're saying is that with enough research and testing, they could potentially get it to charge in 5 minutes.
Oh, I see. I see. So it's potential.
Right. They've been researching and looking at it, and it could be a possible future. Now, more recently, there has been a lot of like electric cars and companies haven't been exactly going up. I don't think people have been liking them. I think they've been declining. Do you think this could help its case right now, or do you even agree with that? The electrical market right now is not really doing well.
Well, I think it isn't doing well. I
Right.
think Ford going out and saying that we're going to slow down R&D of electric vehicles, that's a big statement. I mean, Ford
Oh
was
yeah.
all in. And actually, I should have made that a topic, honestly, but I guess I didn't. But I did hear on my news wire that Ford is actually going to be focusing on hybrids now. Yes.
Oh,
I mean, that's the future right there, hybrids. I mean,
honestly,
that's where you're going to get all the gas mileage savings. You're using some battery, you're using some gas. You're really making both worlds happy. And you're also cutting down on carbon, right? Your carbon
right.
footprint. So, I mean, I really do believe in that. Now I think that's a perfect bridge between like gas and electric. Like, why are we going to jump from gas all the way straight to electric when we could do gas, hybrid, then electric? that's a much
Mhm.
smoother transition. I think right now people who are buying electric vehicles are kind of buying into a beta test program, if anything, and
Yeah.
they're getting a lesser experience. Like, I understand you sit 20 minutes, you could watch Netflix and charge up your vehicle, but in my opinion, I also believe that most people don't want to do that. Now, we could be honest though, most people, their commutes are like under 200 miles, right? They would be able to run on a full charge
Yeah.
every day. They would be able to just charge it up at their home. So, electric cars are nice for most people, honestly, until you get into the road trip element. Then you're kind of, you know, a little,
Yeah, what are you gonna do if you need to go across the country?
well, there's more than ample chargers now, but the problem is your
Yeah.
trip is going to be like an extra few
Hey,
hours now, you know?
even an extra day, like it's a
I
lot.
mean, it very well could be. It could be up to an extra day just to go from PA to Florida if you were to do a long road trip from here to there, right? So,
Right.
so really, I don't know. It's kind of, you're benefiting in some ways and you're also limiting yourself in some ways. I think electric vehicles, like, I don't know if the sector's necessarily going to keep growing as fast as it has been. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are interested, but at the same time, the price is also high. And, you know, then there's also that whole political debate where, half of the voters would never buy an electric vehicle. So, because we live in a country where it's like 50-50, like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure our latest president won by like 3 or 4 points, so, like, yeah, I mean, and on the other side, they don't like electric cars, so are they going to be buying one? Who knows, you know
Yeah.
but overall, it's kind of creating a thing where, like, not everybody wants an electric vehicle. And I think a lot of OEM manufacturers are really looking to slow down the progress, try to take
Right.
a step back, focus on hybrid. And also, I think the number one thing we should be focusing on: stop making expensive vehicles. Like,
Right.
ever since COVID, we pay $70,000 for a simple pickup truck.
Oh, dude, the car market blew up during COVID.
It doubled
It's yeah.
or tripled, really. I mean,
Horrible.
it could have tripled. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Why is Kia and Hyundai Group growing so much in the United States? Because they make cheap vehicles. Hello, you know?
Honestly, yes. Trucks are horrible. Like any truck you want, it's minimum like 50K, I think. Minimum. And then any normal like E8 normal American gonna run you at least 80. It's
Yeah.
crazy expensive. And not just that, even the food prices doubled. I haven't been buying my own food since the prices went up so high, so I have no idea how much to complain, but everyone else is complaining, so I can too. But the
Yeah.
food prices aren't there. $200 every trip to the grocery store is not ideal. Not ideal.
And when do you think we'll see relief from this?
I mean, honestly, I want to have some. I want to have some optimism. I want to have some optimism. Say it's gonna have a downward trend from now, and it's not. I think it has to get worse before it ever gets better. It's got to go
Well,
up and up and up, and then maybe just drop.
I've been seeing some really interesting bullet points. I don't know how true they are, But I'll just throw these out here. Apparently, prices have spiked already. We have already overcome the spike in 2023. So they said around summer
Mm.
2023 is when we've had that spike. And a lot of places are reporting that things are gradually going down. I'm not sure how true it is, but I've heard that we've already kind of hit the top mark for now. And what's happening is a lot of companies are reporting poor earnings because now consumers are kind of like, well, I'm spending $200 at the grocery store. I'm not going to buy any Hershey candy. I'm not going to buy this brand of paper towels. I'm not going to buy
Right.
this. I'm not going to buy that. And then when they don't do that, it actually hurts those companies and they're going to be more encouraged to cut their costs down and potentially bring the prices down, right?
Right.
So that's what we're starting to see. I think though it might actually, I don't think it's going to go down like people think. I think it's going to kind of go a little bit rocky. Like it's going to start shaking a little bit where it's like it's going down in some areas and it's going back up and it's just like keeps a little process here and then eventually the whole thing will break.
Right.
And I think a lot of it also depends on like um what happens here, like in terms of who becomes like our next leaders here in America. And you know, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not personally though, I'm not gonna blame it on just
Yeah,
here
that's
because it is a
fact.
global issue. I think it's very much a global
Yes.
issue. That's
Yes.
something that people don't realize. They think that oh well, America's latest president just went in and completely raised the prices. Like, I don't think that's how it works. I think this was a whole global thing that happened. And, you know, we had just gotten over COVID. We gotten over, you know, shutting down certain industries and, you know, certain things being super, super uncertain. And I remember in like, what was it? Like 2020, there was a lot of activity on the stock market.
Right.
Like things were being sold, things were being bought. You know, GameStop was $300 a share. I mean, there was crazy stuff going on. Um, and like I always knew like during COVID, I'm like, the economy can't stay like this forever. Right? Like, I
Right.
think we all knew that. Like, how are you going to just push the pause button on an economy this big and then just resume it once the virus is over, you know? And I really
Yeah.
don't bring this down to like policy because I've asked people too on the right, on the left, everywhere. I'm like, what would you be able to practically pass in the government in order to avert inflation? And then they say, "Oh, bring the interest rates down." That does not fix inflation. I'm sorry to tell you.
No,
That makes
it
it
doesn't.
worse. The raising the interest rate is to simply kind of press brakes on things. You know, slow down activity a little bit. Like, hey, don't take out a loan to buy more shit. You know, like that's kind of what that does, right? Like, don't buy a new
Right.
car, don't buy a new house, right? To kind of
Right.
levy the financial pressure. I think eventually those rates will go down, but
Eventually, yeah.
like people think that oh, let's just get rid of the rate cuts and you know, it could be a worrying situation really for us. I mean, who knows what could happen? I mean, you got another person running for office, they might come in, they might lower the interest rate. What if inflation goes haywire again? And then we have another like another half a decade of inflation and your bread costs like $20 a slice, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know, we really don't know. I mean, there's a lot of experts on the topic too that I'm sure, like, if you really wanted to know for sure you could look into it. But you know, it's a dangerous thing. You can't
Yeah.
just say, oh, I'm gonna do XYZ. you don't know the repercussions of those actions. You don't know how that's going to impact things, you know? Now, I have seen one sector of the economy, and I love how this whole topic wasn't even in our notes, but one sector of the economy was vehicles. So that's actually deflating a little bit.
Oh,
Hooray. Yeah, the
yay.
used market is deflating. And the
That's
new
good.
market is on its way to deflate eventually because new car demand is at an ultimate low due to the interest rates, and people do not want to take out a loan for like 15 to 20% on a vehicle, understandably. And yeah, I mean, we might actually see cheaper vehicles soon before you know it. So,
Right. Yeah, that'd be great to see.
and I'm in a market for a vehicle, and I've already started to see these uh changes in price like across the board.
Right.
So it's really nice to see like price cuts. And during COVID, dealers wouldn't even negotiate with you. They were like, this is the price, take it or leave it. Now you can be like, hey, I want $1,000 off this price, right?
Right.
And they might be willing to do that. So, and they can't really bring up any shortage of vehicles now because I've been to my local dealership and the whole lot's full. So
Wow.
yeah, I don't know how it is in your area, but around
I
here it
haven't
seems
been.
pretty popping, I guess. If that's even a word.
Yeah. Honestly, if I were you, I'd just wait it out a little bit. See what the lowest you can find is. Wait wait out the market to see if you can find its lowest point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'll see pre-COVID levels, but we might start
Right.
seeing some things happen and things shift. And something I noticed too is that these manufacturers are like, well, we can't hit these price targets because of the price of the wages and all that, and insurance and all that for the company went up. So instead, let's just make a small pickup truck. So now the rise of mini pickup trucks is coming. Um, are we ready? I don't know, but yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff like that, and who knows what'll happen.
Right.
So, what's your next
Well,
topic?
I think I just went.
That's all
Do you have
yours?
any more? Basically, I have more if we need more time.
Well, I was thinking of going with one more topic here because it's kind of related on this whole thing about the economy, because I did not time that into the show, but this one kind of actually links to it, which is nice. Um
Right.
so this topic is the rise of quiet quitting. I'm sure you've heard of this.
Why?
Employees are fulfilling their job requirements, but not going above and beyond. No more late nights
Oh,
or taking on extra projects. Focus on work life balance and personal well being. Some of the causes for this is burnout. The pandemic blurred work life lines, leading to employee exhaustion and a desire for boundaries, lack of engagement, unclear career paths, and unappreciated efforts, and toxic work environments can demotivate employees. And shifting priorities. Younger generations may prioritize personal fulfillment over career ambition. So, what do you think about this?
I think that's. I'm confused. What do you mean?
Basically, employees are not um They're not
Oh,
going above and beyond anymore like they used to. They're not
yes.
working late nights, taking on extra projects. They're focusing more on work-life balance, personal well-being, stuff like that. Um, and now our generation specifically wants to prioritize personal fulfillment over career ambition.
I like that
I do
because,
too.
and I honestly agree with it, and I honestly want it to sweep the board because I personally care about uh, work life balance way more. Um, if I quit and the job's been rude to me, they're not getting a 2 week notice. They can just fire you at any point. If I'm replaceable, you're replaceable,
Exactly.
right? Like,
I mean, a
going
lot of
above and
people make
beyond,
this
like,
like this news is bad, but like in reality, I think it's just people not wanting to be treated like pawns anymore, you know? Like
right.
they don't want to be overused and under rewarded. And I think something that actually inspired this is a lot of kids growing up got to see their parents get absolutely just hurt by their employer that they were loyal to for 50 years, you know? Like,
Yeah.
some people have parents who they might have been a steel worker, right, for 30 years, right? And they didn't end up getting their full retirement benefits or anything, and they kind of just kicked them out on the curb, right? So I think our generation is looking at this and seeing what our parents did, and we're like, you know what? We're not sticking up for this. We're not going to be trusting these companies. We're not going to be friendly to them. We're going to do what they say for us to do, and then we're going to enjoy our life. You know, we'll take the
Yes.
vacation days we deserve. We'll do whatever we need. You know,
Yes, and honestly, if you take on these extra stuff, me personally, I'm only taking on extra work if I need money. Otherwise, like, you will never find me taking on overtime or whatever if I don't have to. And I think that's a lot what a lot of other people
now some people are
can
wondering,
agree with.
since this is primarily a thing happening here in North America, not really in European countries as much, and especially not in Asian countries.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I mean, the work-life balance there is non-existent, sadly. But people are wondering, is this going to just give them the competitive edge over us because now we're being quote unquote lazier?
Hmm. It's not. Well, no, I mean, do you know what the European life balance is? They have it made.
Yeah,
They
that's
have a
true.
saying over there.
Some countries do down there.
They have a saying over there. It's Americans live to work and we work to live. And I just
Really?
always remember that. It's not and it's not that's not a happy saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think it does give more contracts and work to more developing countries because now employers are going to be like, oh, well, let's hire Indians, to work for our company, right?
Right.
Because they're very hardworking people, right? I mean, not
Right.
that we're not hardworking. We're kind of just realizing that we want to enjoy life too, and we
Right.
only live once.
There was also like I don't know if you saw this. There's also like talk of I think it's Warren Buffett changing the work week
Bernie
from
Sanders,
5
Bernie. Yep,
is Bernie from
yep,
5 days to 4 days. Oh, I don't know
yep.
why I thought it was Warren Buffett. Then.
He was just talking about it the other day. I think Warren might be into it as well, but Bernie, he
Oh,
was. He was going above and beyond with that, you know. I know
I
this
would
is
hope
not a
they switch
political
it.
show, but you know,
Yeah.
Bernie should have been the president today. That's my opinion. But I don't know. What do you think about what his proposition is?
Oh, I love that. 3 days off is beautiful. I think so many people would like that as well.
I mean, personally, just take Mondays out, right? Then Mondays are no longer a sad day.
Well, no. Then Tuesday is your Monday.
True. Well, then what
And
would
if
you
you take
take out?
Fridays out,
Friday?
if you take out Fridays, then Thursday's your Friday.
True. That would be exciting, honestly.
And people change to that sort of thought. Like,
Now, what
it's,
about school? Do we do the same there?
no, let them suffer.
Oh, no.
No,
Well,
I don't know. That depends.
yeah, I get that. I mean, honestly, though, I think Bernie's take on that is really true because in Scandinavian countries, especially, they've been able to completely master the whole work balance thing. You know, I mean, employees get a whole month off for Christmas, paid, by the way. You know, and they
Yeah.
have basically unlimited PTO. And if you have a baby and you're a woman, you get years off for free. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Sweden's doing it right. I mean, I was thinking like, hey, if everything hits the fan, I'm moving to Sweden, you know? But
Right. Some people are like that.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, most people are. If everyone's going to Sweden, uh, then everyone's going to Sweden.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Sweden's I know this is unrelated, but Sweden has had a lot of non-citizens be migrating into their country, which is interesting,
Oh yeah,
you know? And
like
a
from
lot of
people
people
from the
are
Middle
getting,
East
yeah, from the Middle
or
East,
even
I guess, but
Ukraine.
yeah, from Ukraine as well. But also some North Americans too, which is kind of interesting. And Canadians. So, because Canada has a weird government right now. When's the presidential election? That's my question.
Never. I always stay in office.
Yeah, let's stay in office forever. Hey guys, there was 10 people coughing outside. We need to delay this whole election until next year. But anyway,
Oh,
I
wow.
got one more point that I wanted to
Sure,
make.
go ahead.
This is the last show that I'll ever make as an 18-year-old.
Oh no, what's happening?
I'm turning 19 on April 10th.
Oh, yay.
Yep. So,
Congrats.
thank you.
Happy birthday as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy your last teen year.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to. Then we get into the real stuff. The 2-0. Oh my god.
Your first double digit.
That's scary. You know what? I want to go back in time now that you just mentioned that. My birthday is not April 10th, guys. It is not.
Oh, wait, what?
No, it is. It is.
Oh.
I was just saying that because I don't want to age, you know? That would be scary.
Yeah, I mean, now you're Peter Pan.
What?
Wait, you never heard that?
No.
Peter Pan? He doesn't want to age?
No, I've never
He,
heard
like,
that.
goes in people's bedrooms and give them flying powers.
Oh my god. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of Techno Talk. We really enjoyed filming it for y'all. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you thought about the show, and leave a voice message on anywhere you get your podcast. This is Matty, and
Josh.
we'll see you next time.